Hello, welcome to my live. And as usual, I want to start talking about how powerful that you are. Okay, the goal, my goal, I guess that's my goal. My goal is that you see yourself as powerful, that you see yourself as confident. Okay, again, this is part of our self-image, the self-image of seeing yourself who's a powerful person, who's a confident person, who's a secure person. And as you practice those feelings of feeling confident, secure, free, you're gonna expand the limits of what you can do with your manifesting, because you will truly be this powerful creator that you've created this self-concept around. So working on your self-concept, self-image, self-love, like what do you think about yourself, is extremely powerful, because everything's coming from within our own selves, right? It's coming from within you. So if you perceive yourself as like, I'm unsure and I don't know, and I don't think this can work out, and I don't know if they like me, and am I even their type, all these questions and doubts is creating what the world around us. So the more that you can get confident, sure, more clarity, more defined in what you want, that's gonna make your life easier, right? It's gonna make your manifesting what you want, like deliberate creating, it's gonna make it feel very effortless. Meditations are powerful because it's focusing and directing your mind and entertaining the ideas of who you are and the power you have. And if we don't deliberately choose those, we're just subject to like the unconscious beliefs that we have growing up or through our lifetime that we didn't deliberately choose. So start deliberately choosing those thoughts now. Oh, you love my affirmations. Thank you. Thank you. My SP is very hot and cold with communication, Adele. Okay, so when they reflect this hot and cold behavior, it's coming from you. Okay, do you already see that? Do you already see that you created how they showed up and how they are in your life? You need to be aware of that, because but knowing that, you'll know that you can create and change anything. Okay, the hot and cold behavior happens because you're going back and forth, or you're noticing an old version of them, or you're noticing something unwanted. So every time you like, let's say it's going good, and then all of a sudden, you don't hear from them, and you're like, what's this? This old story is popping up again. Well, the fact that you react to it and say, what's going on? What's this? Are they ghosting me? They haven't contacted me. Focusing and reacting to that brings it into our life. So when that happens, it's not them, it's you. Just as long as you know that and you've tested it yourself to prove it to yourself, you're going to gain your confidence and faith. And you'll say, oh, wait, that's just me. Instead of making the assumption they're ghosting me, I'm just going to assume, hey, they actually got busy at work today, but I know that I'm a priority and I'm important to them. They are reaching out to me. I intend that they're contacting me. I intend that. So also create beliefs around like relationships, right? Because I don't know what those are, but you're going to know, right? So are your beliefs around relationships like, it's really hard, and it's hard to express myself, and it's hard to communicate, and I don't know what to say? Because if we have these thoughts, that's going to play out. So you need to get clear yourself on how do you even express yourself? Do you need to work on that, right? Because the more you work on it, you'll see that reflect in your world as well. So start thinking the idea of like, you know what, relationships can be easy, right? Just what does the ideal relationship look like? That's what you'd focus on. Like, what does that ideal desire look like? Like that, it could be a dream life. Like, what does that dream life look like? The more you focus on that, you'll bring it into your life. So it looks like, I'm secure and stable inside. I'm really secure, feeling strong, feeling confident. And I know that life gets better, right? So you have to build those beliefs. You build those beliefs by affirming the story, listening to meditations, entertaining in your mind videos like me or other people who teach this, but not watching drama TV. Do you know what I mean? You want to start being aware of what you're consuming in your mind. So, because it's the whole mental diet, it's a lifestyle, right? I named my channel Lifestyle Manifesting because I'm like, it is totally a lifestyle. It's a whole new thought process. For me, it was a whole new thought process. And most of us are going through that transition. You'll get there and you'll be like, boom, I've got this. I just know it gets better. I know it gets easier. You'll see how powerful that you are, even if they're cold. Even if they are cold, you'll know, oh wait, all I need to do is just tweak that within me. That's okay. And you'll just feel like, no biggie, no biggie, no biggie, no biggie. Instead of being like, oh my God, let me watch 10,000 videos and figure out what to do, right? So you want to get to the place where you're like, okay, they're acting a little cold. No biggie. Okay, I feel it in my heart or in my gut. Like, I don't like that. But you have to practice that. You practice feeling, okay, it's okay because I'm powerful. You can say that in the moment. Okay, what's happening? I don't like it, but I'm so powerful. All I have to do is focus on what I want and I'll create that. And maybe it'll be unwanted circumstances for a little bit, but you'll get through that and you'll get better and better and better. Is it okay to script like, I remember when I thought I wasn't worthy of love? Yes, absolutely. And I remember when is like a technique of Neville Goddard, but I've also heard other metaphysical teachers use that. I think even Florence Scovel Shinn, I've heard her in her lectures or her affirmations say, I remember when. So I remember when is powerful because if you're living in the end, you're living in the end remembering like, I'm not that way anymore. I remember when I used to feel that way, right? I remember when I felt that way. But now you want to focus on more, I remember when I was that way. But now, and now I'm in, and then boom, I think I meant to say, and now boom, my life feels like a dream life. Even if your life does not feel like a dream life right now, start affirming that. Just start affirming it. I intend to live my dream life. Okay, so you have to paint the picture of what is your dream life. That's why people do vision boards, and that visualization can be powerful. If you like to do that, do that. That's a fun technique. There's nothing wrong in that. But you can train yourself. I don't do vision boards. I do scripting and more imagining, and it's just my thought, my dominant thought. Grabbing my hair. So it's your dominant thoughts of what you're thinking. So if you can focus your thoughts and your attention on the thing you want. And when I want to do that, I usually just script it out. I script out and I just let my mind paint that picture of like, what does my dream life look like? Okay. What your dream life looks like today, it's going to be different. Even in a half year, you might start having new ideas of what your dream life looks like. So you'll always grow and expand on that, on what you're looking for, but just always look more towards like, ooh, this looks good. And ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like the idea of having this relationship bloom like this, and it looks like this, and our home looks like this, and our traveling or our lifestyle looks like this. Okay, spending more time on that than in the past. You could do I remember when, because I do find that powerful, and I've used that affirmation. I remember when I used to live in that old place and oh my God, and now look at where I am, right? What about manifesting court cases getting dismissed? I have court on the 18th. Absolutely. Oh my God, yeah. I did manifest like during my divorce when I didn't really know what I was doing but I was able to manifest things to move up quickly. Here's what you want to do. You kind of have to get out of the reasoning mind of like how life typically works. That's why you go to the end. If you can go to the end, in what do you want it to be dismissed? So can you imagine that your attorney or whoever's calling you or you're getting that message like, oh my God, it was dismissed. So you want to practice in your mind having the idea and thought that it's already been dismissed. It was dismissed. Imagine that you're telling a parent or family, whatever, someone that's close to you that you'd have a conversation with, and what would that conversation look like if it was already dismissed? You're like, oh my God, it was dismissed. And it feels, how does that feel, right? You don't have to feel it, but feeling it, I like to practice the feeling. For me, that works for me, but I know my thoughts create. So if I persist in assumption, if I persist in a story, that story will manifest, even if I doubt it. Okay? So that's what you can imagine. And or say the intention, I intend this all goes my way. Create your beliefs right now, because right now is manifesting your, only the present exists. So things always work out for me. I'm always in the right place. I'm always having something better than I even expect. Do you have to be living in the end consistently? No. So you can live in just the assumption. You've already been manifesting your whole life. Have you been living in the end? Well, we create goals, and then, so that's how you've been manifesting up to now, like how you think reality works. You create goals, you have ideas of what you want, right? What brings us to the things we don't want is focusing on the things we don't want and focusing on the things we don't like, what we don't want, what we don't like, what we're complaining about. And when we do that, that's what we're like holding on to. So living in the end could just be, I know my thoughts create. This is what I do. I know that my imagination is one with God, right? It's my awareness, my consciousness that lives forever. And that's what's creating my reality. And all I have to do is imagine. I don't have to imagine 10,000 times. I can just imagine it once and I know it's done. So you got to create that belief in that. When you create that belief and that knowing and that truth inside of you and that belief, that will manifest. And that just makes it a little more effortless, because we don't want to be affirming all day long, right? And I went through a process where I did affirm a lot. And then there was a place where I had shifted so many of my beliefs that my life just gets better. I get whatever I want. So create the belief, like, no matter what, I get what I want. No matter what happens, I get my desires. And I'm on my path and everything that's happening is okay. And even this moment right now that I don't, if you don't like it, right? Even if I don't like this moment right now, that's okay. So it's also like that's why you hear the words law of assumption, because what we already assumed to be was what was realized or materialized in our world. So, you can focus on that concept of like law of assumption is whatever I assume to be will be. And I assume I'm getting this, and I assume I'm getting that. And I assume I'm living here. There's other ways to live in the end where, sometimes you're in a place where if you're not totally feeling that comfortably, there's other ways to live in the end. It's like, so imagine the things that we want and just impress that idea on your mind. And as you're imagining, you're like, ooh, I like that, it feels good. And you're getting into a better feeling place. Instead of feeling like I don't have it, I don't like this, I don't want that, we can direct our thoughts and our thoughts, emotions, feelings to like things that we think about, that we like to think about. I mean, that we want, that we like to think about. That would feel good, that would feel better, that would be the lifestyle we want to live, that would be the experiences we want to experience. Okay? So living in the end could just be, I'm going to focus on everything I want versus what I don't want, which is over there. All right, I've been manifesting my SP, but still no contact. How can I change this? All right, so stop noticing that there's still no contact, okay? That is major number one. Like everyone's given messages like, still no contact, still haven't heard from them. Because if we're like, oh, I still haven't heard from them, we're really paying attention to that. We're reacting to it. It's our focus and attention is what's not happening. Okay, so just say to yourself, wait a minute, am I thinking about what I want? Okay, because you don't want no contact. So still no contact. Wait a minute, am I focusing on what I want? No. If I'm thinking about no contact, I'm not doing that. So I need to think about, what do I want? Let me think about SP. And then I'm going to think about, I intend that they're calling me right now. And I intend that they're thinking about me and how amazing I am. And like that I'm the most beautiful thing in the world. And I lit up their world and I make them feel so loved and so cared for, right? So it would be going into your own self-concept about like, who are you and how do you make them feel, right? And how do they show up for you? They see you as a priority because you are a priority. And you can go on a little rampage of that in your mind for, even if it's just for 30 seconds, a little rampage, 30 seconds saying, well, I'm the greatest thing on earth. Of course they're going to reach out to me. Okay, but then you also have to look at the story, because if there's a story behind it that, you have different religions and there's a whole okay, so even though we may affirm our SP, we might have a dominant story in our mind about like, well, our religions don't match up and their family, this and that, think about me, and I don't know if it'll work out. So you got to align. This is aligning the story in your mind of like, so what if you're not the same religion? You have to create that belief instead of using that as like that's creating a block or creating, your manifestation from like just stalling. So you have to notice that and say, wait a minute, none of that matters because we're meant to be together. And I know we'll overcome anything. And their family loves me. Okay. So it's not only the affirmation, but like what's that whole story around it? Okay. I've picked apart the relationships that I had and the beliefs and the stupid stories that I kept from, like a couple years ago when I was manifesting different people into my life. And I could totally see it was so much about the story. It's so much about the story. Don't make a story about being worthy and deserving. Just decide it. I'm worthy and deserving. Now, what does that story look like that you want? Okay. We don't have to make a whole story about healing. I mean, some people are going through healing. I get that. But don't turn it into a big, this is what I think. Don't turn it into big, like, I have to heal and they have to heal. No. Just decide you're healed. Just decide it. We can start with a clean slate right now. How can you clear, how can you clear about past assumption? Like you want to clear up a past assumption. You revise it. You revise a past assumption. Just be like, that past assumption, okay, he was a player. Why did I assume that? Because somebody probably told me. Who cares if someone was a player? Anyone at any moment can change their mind and say, you know what, you're the one. I'm dedicated to you. I love you forever. It's just our belief in that. So is an assumption true? No. Was it true when I didn't think I was pretty? That was a belief I had, that I was not attractive, or, like that I didn't feel attractive. Was that true? It was only true because I believed it. And once I changed that belief into, yeah, I am, right? Yeah, I am. Then I feel it. And not only that, I've changed my own feeling and assumption, belief around that. It reflects back to me. And I got to change it within me first before that reflection. So yeah, you change any assumption. This is why it's important that you, instead of like, you're going to listen to different people giving different advice, and especially if it's someone who is not awake to knowing their thoughts create, like I see people on TikTok talking about relationships and how to grow a relationship and what to do, but they were trained in a different way. They don't see this reality this way, right? They haven't experienced something where they experience their thoughts create. So are we going to listen to them? No. You're going to go within and listen to you. Don't listen to somebody else. Listen to you and decide your own story, what you want, not what other people say out there in your world, but what feels true to you. This is you learning to go within and say, instead of wondering, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Asking 10,000 questions to different people, what should I do? You decide, this is what I'm going to do, and this is the story, this is the world I want to live in, this is the experience, okay? Because you already know your thoughts, imagination, you are creating it all. So you can create anything you want. A-Fulls, you asked me yesterday about manifesting unexpected money, and today you received an unexpected $100. I love that. Awesome. Way to go. You're so powerful. Okay, Erica, why is it some people manifest in days and some take months? It's your beliefs, okay? It's how you start. Okay, if I already believe I can manifest pretty instantly, so I've created that belief. Did I just do it overnight? Not necessarily. I knew that what I create and focus on now creates my future. And I knew that I wanted to be effortless, easy. I wanted to understand this on a deep level. I want to be able to get the things I want quickly, because I listened to people who said, oh, you need to go through the process and it's not going to come instantly. It may, but it may not. No, guess what? It can come instantly. It's just your belief around it. So what do you want? I create that. That's my process, that I do learn and grow and expand even when they're instant manifestations. Okay, so what did I do? I just started affirming it. I manifest easily, effortlessly, instantly. Or I started out saying, I intend to be that way. And I affirmed it. And then I saw evidence. I was like, oh, I'm getting good at this. And I kept reminding myself, like, I'm creating this and I'm creating that, right? So it's about you and your own understanding of how you're manifesting. So just start saying, hey, if they're manifesting in days, I can do that in days. When we manifest a specific person, and let's say it's someone who's already been in our life, like an ex, our old mind, the old version of us, sees that person solid as that's how they were. And maybe we have beliefs like you can't teach an old dog new tricks, or people never change, right? That's something I've heard of growing up, like, oh, people never change. Well, that's not true. Is that true? No, it's not true. So you got to look into yourself and say, wait, do I have that belief? So if you're not even sure you have it, just affirm it. I believe. You're not changing people, by the way, but it's our belief that people change. Do you get that? Like, we're not changing someone, we're just changing our conception of someone. Okay, but it could feel like they're changing. Okay, I like that belief because I like to see that anything can change and conform to my thoughts. So, start just paying attention to what your beliefs are. Okay, so what are good affirmations for better health for your pets? Okay, so start seeing your pet and say, I intend, my pet, my dog, my cat is getting better. I intend my cat is healthy. So it's seeing that your dog, or, whatever pet you have, seeing that your pet is well, intending your pet as well. Instead of focusing on like, oh my God, they're sick again. Are they throwing up? Do they have a disease? Even if the vet tells us, this is how powerful we are, okay? It depends on your belief system. Like, I know that I could manifest, even if the dentist, even if the vet told me my dog was like terminal, I know that I could create that my dog wouldn't be. Because I would focus on health, well-being, my dog's getting better. I would focus on, even if they gave me some medicine, I would say, good, this medicine's going to work. I intend this medicine it works, right? All right. So it's a matter of focusing on what you want. How does that look like? Imagine playing with, if it's a dog, let's say you imagine you're playing with your dog. Imagine it's 5 years from now and you're like, boom, oh my God, I'm so grateful that my dog is so well and so happy and still filled with life and so fun. And, you can imagine your dog like licking you and you're like, whatever. Those kind of things. You can go into the future, because our subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between the present moment and imagination. It really doesn't, right? There's scientific proof behind this. So if we go into the future and imagine it as if it already happened, we are impressing that reality on our within our in our life, on our subconscious mind. Even if I'm talking about a dog, you apply that to your specific person and you think, oh, she said I could do that with the dog. You do it with your specific person. Imagine it's 5 years from now, you're celebrating your 5-year anniversary or whatever it is, it's the same thing. All right, so I was on, here we are. You've been affirming, Sarah, you've been affirming me and SP text every day, and some guy I stopped talking to texted me yeah. Absolutely, that's birds before land, So it's you manifesting, you're affirming receiving text messages, right? And then this other person, it's like path of least resistance, which means you didn't have any resistance to him, and you're affirming receiving text messages. It's coming from him. So make it mean if it came from him, of course my SP is next, okay? You want to affirm a story like that. So it means like this, whatever's happening right now means I'm getting all my dreams and desires. Now, but just go through your mind and think, is there something, just double check your story. Double check your story. Because I'm just telling you, I had stories that were like, like I wasn't sure if he was ready to be in a relationship. And so if I have that assumption that he's not ready to be in a relationship, even though I keep affirming that he's texting me, but in the back of my mind, I think, but I'm not even sure he's ready for a relationship right now, right? So it's you like aligning that story and say, oh wait, I thought that you know what? I think he is ready for a relationship. Why wouldn't he be? He's 40 years old, whatever, like this is for me though. Like he's ready for a relationship. He met me, I'm the right one. Okay. So just double check the story. Okay. But feel excited. Like, ooh, that guy reached out, or whatever, that person, this guy reached out to me. It means my SP is reaching out to me. It's the fastest way to manifest a boyfriend. Start saying, I know how to manifest a boyfriend fast and easy, right? It's your assumption and thoughts and expectations around it. So if you think, well, I'm going to manifest someone really fast, but it's hard to meet people, and we're in the middle of like this, whatever's going on in the world, and I don't even go out of my house. Okay, so you can't those are opposing thoughts. That's why we don't want to think about the house so much. We just want to say, I intend that I have a boyfriend. This is what I want right now. Imagine you already have it right now. Practice feeling that. Practice, not when I say feeling it, I don't mean feel it, but I mean just practice imagining that already exists. When I script, can I say, today I did this? Like a diary? Yeah, sure, absolutely. However we're manifesting, it's really just it's our own beliefs about it. That's why you have manifesting teachers, people teaching mainstream law of attraction that like are killing it, right? Because that's how they believe reality to work. This is just on a different level because I already knew, okay, so when it comes to manifesting people and specific people in our life, we're actually already doing it. We just didn't really realize it until you wake up to seeing that realization, and then you test it out and you're like, oh my God, this is working. Or it's because you want this person in your life so bad that you're drawn to manifest a specific person, and you realize, oh my God, this really works. Okay, so anyway, sorry, I'm getting new thoughts coming in, but yeah, script. So my point was that everybody is just, you decide, hey, whatever I'm doing, because different teachers tell you different things. So what you decide in that moment is say, hey, whatever I do works for me. So if I write in my diary like it's already done right now, it's done. This is my technique, okay? Just create that whatever you do works for you. However you think works for you. Even when you doubt, that works for you. Okay, because it's trying to think like, how can I not limit my idea about how I create? So you can do that by just assuming that no matter what, you're going to get everything you want, no matter what you do. You're welcome. How can I manifest unexpected money? Well, Aphils was here yesterday, and she just manifested unexpected money today. So here's what you do. Start looking at what your beliefs about money are. Just have this is how you can think. I have no idea how, but I intend to manifest money today. I intend it comes in some wild and crazy way, unexpected or expected way, right? Because maybe something expected that you kind of forgot about. So I intend, like maybe you'll get that check that you were waiting for and boom, it pops up today. So affirm it, like money comes to me easily and effortlessly. I intend, I'm always in the right place at the right time. Start thinking abundance mindset. That would be, lack mindset is like, I don't have enough money. I can't do this. I never have enough money. Everything's expensive. Okay, so that's a lack mindset. You start to change your mindset to abundance. This world is filled with abundance. There's so much money. There is so much money. So that's what you want to have an idea of, thinking like money can come in so many different ways. Someone could just decide to pay it back, pay it forward, pay it forward, pay it back, pay it forward, right? And give me like, so anyone, relative, family, who knows, stranger, just believe that all things are possible. Okay? You could be, did you guys ever see Jimmy Darts on? I love his TikTok channel. He's the guy who, like, he'll go in the store and give someone like $500, like the first person that'll buy him like the birthday cake at Walmart or something. And you could be that person. You could be the person where someone came up to you and said, you know, I wanted to give this to you because you were kind and helpful to me. Okay, so it's starting to entertain in your mind that money could come easily and effortlessly, and you don't even know how. I literally wrote down like a couple weeks, I was like, oh, my son's birthday party, it's gonna be like it seemed ridiculous to spend $800 for an 8-year-old birthday party, and I was like, well, why don't I just manifest an extra $1,000? And I think I wrote down 1,200. And yeah, I manifested 1,500. My accountant was like, oh, we have this extra money from last year, and somehow, and it was literally like 2 days later, and then plus I got another 5,000 that I had written down also. I just wrote it down, and I was like, oh, cool. Just decide that like whatever you write down is powerful. And I'm gonna write down, I manifest $100, and you can find 100. I know the one time in the beginning when I was manifesting money, and it was like the day it was like 2 or 3 years ago, I was going to India for New Year's to do like a yoga retreat, and I was affirming these stories like money comes to me and it's abundant. And then I walk out my door, and in the alley there was a $50 bill. That stuff can happen to you. So just instead of thinking, how am I going to get it, just say, I don't know how, but money will just appear to me. Imagine it's raining money. There's a lot of money meditations. I think I want to do a money meditation on my YouTube channel, because I've manifested a lot of like money in a lot of different ways. That was really fun, and it's just about looking through the abundance mindset. Cute smile. Okay, you're trying to manifest a boyfriend, but it's not working. What should I do? Okay, so is it just here's what you can do. Even if you have a specific person that you're thinking about, or nobody you're thinking about, right? Let's say you have nobody, because I don't know your situation. Just take out a notebook and start writing, what does that person look like? Okay, this is going to be powerful because you're going to focus on the things you want. Well, my boyfriend is the sweetest guy, and he treats me as a priority. He loves me to death. We have the easiest communication. We have great chemistry. So write all those things down. Like, he's faithful and he's loyal, and he's compassionate. He's emotionally available, right? Think about these deliberately. Emotionally available. How many times do you hear, because I do have a lot more clients that are women manifesting men, right? And there is an idea in the world that like that people are not emotionally available, or men are not. So start creating in your reality that they are, that whoever you're interested is emotionally available. Okay, so you write that all out. I mean, I put stuff down like makes me breakfast, loves to do these things with me, and I just wrote it out. The things that I like to do that I would like to do together. Start writing it out. Read it every day. Okay, read it every day, and saying and thinking like, I'm so happy and grateful that this is my boyfriend has these traits. I'm so happy and grateful, or I intend that this happens now. Okay, so it's not an exact way you have to say it. You're going to say it whatever resonates with you, that feels kind of truthful, true, and real. Okay, after that, the world is our oyster, and we will create the perfect future together. I love that. I feel like I've heard that kind of phrase about the world is our oyster, right? The world is your oyster. You can create the perfect future together. So earlier I had a question about hot and cold behavior. Because when you manifest your person into your life, you want to have a belief that like your relationship is always going to grow. So start creating those beliefs and assumptions now, like no matter what relationship I'm in, it grows, the communication gets better, life gets easier, we feel comfortable expressing ourselves. A-fuls. Hopefully some of these girls realize in the end they probably deserve better. So this whole game, because you already manifested the person to treat, it's not them, it's you. No matter who it is in your world, it's not them, it's you. Because all you have to do is test it, and I've tested it with every person in my life. I changed my conception or assumption about someone. If I didn't like the way they acted towards me, I knew it was me, not them, because I tested it. So I tested it and I turned it around and I created a new conception of them. That new conception is like image, right? So I created the new conception of them, that if someone was really rude to me and it appeared like they didn't like me, then I can create an assumption that they do like me. They're very kind to me. They go above and beyond. And when I affirm that belief, they will do that. Okay, I even did it with my mom, who used to complain all the time. And I was like, but wait a minute, the chicken before the egg, how could I manifest my mom being this way? I don't know. Okay, but I do know, here's what I do know. I do know that as I changed my conception of how she appeared in my life, she reflected that new belief. Okay, so you're doing it. So when you say, hopefully someone realizes in the end they deserve better, we do want to realize that you do deserve better. Raise your standards, create boundaries. But you can do it with someone that was an ex, because you already created them to show up as a total douche or something. Maybe not that, but you know what I mean? Like you didn't have boundaries, or you didn't have standards, and they didn't match those because you didn't have them. It's not them, it's you. It's all coming from you. It's only you. Okay, it's realizing that, and when you know that, you can change and create anything. So just start testing it. I tested it out on my kids. My kids used to be disrespectful to me when I went through my divorce. So I started affirming. I was like, wait a minute, I'm creating their that way, because I didn't have like set standards or boundaries and I kept assuming why don't they respect me? That's what I would say. Why don't they respect me? Why aren't they respecting me? It was like something I would say in my head, right? So then I was like, wait a minute, I created that too? And I just affirmed it. Did I do anything differently? No. I affirmed the story I wanted, and I imagined how I would be treated. I imagined how they behave in public. My kids go anywhere and everyone's like, damn, your kids are like, they're so kind, they're so polite, they're like little angels. My 8-year-old is the kid who, because I created this, it was deliberate. This was not, I deliberately created that he goes above and beyond for other people. Like we go to my mom's house, he's grabbing a blanket for her, putting it on her. Can I do anything for you, Oma? Can I go in the kitchen and get you anything? Okay. This is something I deliberately created. So if we think the best in people, we'll receive the best in people. If we think our boss is an asshole, he's an asshole because, they showed up that way, and we let that assumption harden into reality, into a fact, basically, and then they continue to be that way. So how would you change a boss who's an asshole? You start affirming the story that my boss... So this is why earlier I talked about believing people change. Well, we change our conception of them and they change, but we can believe that. I believe my boss can change. I believe my boss is I intend that my boss is nice to me and they're kind to me. They're actually giving me a promotion. My boss is saying, hey, I want to introduce you to someone else. So this is how you can create anything you want in your life. And all you do is test it. You test it and you see, and don't just make it your specific person. Test every person in your life, because you're going to prove it to yourself, and then you're going to say, and then you're going to get your specific person, because you'll realize you're doing it with everyone, even your mom, even your dad, everyone. All you do is change your conception of them, and they will reflect that new conception. So keep practicing. That's how I got powerful with my person. First, I tested it with my mom. I tested it with my kids. I tested it with all different people, my friends, strangers, even how strangers treat me in public. I created that. I created it. Do I run into Karens? Never. Never. Because that's not part of the story in my life. And I don't even laugh at that stuff, because I just don't even care to have that part of my life. So when you test it on other people, that's going to build your faith, build your confidence. You'll be like, oh my God, I did it for my mom, who I thought was one way my whole life. But you do that because you have a little less resistance, because you're like intrigued, And then you're like, holy shit, I'm doing it for my SP. All right, anyway, I don't know if I'm going off too much about that, but I want you to understand that all of your experiences could be the experiences that you want. How do you, Ari Love, how do I script? Like in steps? I just put a journal out on Amazon. My link's in the bio. I have this like notebook that I wrote on the front of it. Everything I write in this journal becomes true. I just created that belief. This is all coming true. And I wrote in there, everything I wrote in my journal in 1 year came true. Like where I lived, where my kids went to school, being in a relationship, the dog I have, like everything, my car, all of these things. I manifested like my dishwasher that was broken to work. How did I do that? I just visualized, looked at it. He's like, doesn't work. It doesn't work. I said, okay, let me imagine. I didn't tell anyone I was doing this, but I just imagined. I imagined that I was taking dishes out of the dishwasher. I imagined that. Kind of totally forgot about it. 3 months later, I pressed the button on, I go, let me just see if this works. I press it and it worked. And it's worked since. That was like a year and a half ago, a year ago or something like that. So even appliances that are broken, I was told but broken by 3 different people before I moved here, it was broken or that it didn't work. They didn't say it was broken, they said it didn't work. I'm telling you, test it, test it, test it. It's only my belief that it was broken. Once I believed that I knew I could do it, I just started imagining I was unloading the dishwasher, it works. I believe also that all things are possible. I believe in miracles. I believe that the past, present, and future all exist right now. So those are some like beliefs that I instilled in me. Okay, so anyway, back to the scripting, just write it down. It doesn't have to be steps. You decide, you just say, you know what, everything I write down on this piece of paper, it's going to manifest. Techniques, just teach yourself that whatever you focus on manifests. Whatever you kind of believe to be true will manifest. Can I manifest to be with him in a few months? I'm not ready to be with him. You're not ready to be with him? Okay, work on your self-concept if you're not ready to be with him. I want a committed relationship, so I scripted about that. Yeah, you scripted about being in a committed relationship. Dog's going, oh guys, it's 2:22. I gotta go in a minute. 2:22 and almost 22 seconds. Okay, again, angel numbers don't mean anything, but I've created that meaning in my life that like the angel number just means I'm on my right path. Is that true? No, but I created that meaning and it makes me feel good. Yeah, you can manifest for your kids. Okay, so Sheila, they have a good friendship. Yes. Okay. So you might think, oh my God, my kids don't have any friends. Like, let's say the current reality is like, it's hard to meet friends, or we moved to a new place and my kids have no friends. The more we focus on that reality of like, my kids have no friends, then we worry about them. Okay. That worry also creates that reality. I created that my friends meet, all those things. Like, they get really good grades. I created that my kids are naturally smart. They just know the answers even. Like, I just believe they'll be valedictorian. I've already gone to the end just knowing they're going to be so happy in life. They're going to get all the good things that they want, right? So just believe, instead of micromanaging, like worry about every little thing about your children, just believe that everything's working out for them, right? And they're living a good life. So if you want to, like, in steps, create the experiences, you create the experience that like your child makes friends really easily, and it's easy for them to talk to other friends, and they make friends easily. Okay, you have to affirm that they have good friendships. Okay, don't believe in the drama of friendships. And if some people have girls and they say, oh well, girls get difficult at whatever age, and I don't know, don't believe that stuff. You create your own beliefs. So you could say, I don't care if that happens in the rest of the world. In my world, this is what it looks like. I don't care in the rest of the world if people believe in, teenagers don't want to hang out with their parents. In my world, my kids want to hang out with me because they love hanging out with me. So it's your own story and beliefs that are manifesting. I manifested that stuff with my son in the dentist. I manifested my son's teeth like moving, so I was like, I don't really want to pay for braces, so I'm going to manifest that his teeth are growing in. His teeth were all separated. I started visualizing, picturing. He had I just pictured my teeth on his, right? And his teeth are just like coming in perfectly nice, more aligned. Is it a big deal? No. I'm testing it. These are things that I do and I test. My mom was getting an eye injection for like 10 years, and I affirmed that she's not getting this eye injection. And then I kind of forgot again. These are things I affirmed, and then I kind of forgot about it. And then she's like, guess what? The eye doctor said after 10 years of getting this chemo injection in my eye, it's the first time in 10 years he said I don't need it. And I was like, oh my God, this worked. Okay. So we can assume the best for any person in our reality, and that can play out. How do you not notice a major component of our life? I'm not saying don't notice a major component. You're probably talking about when people say ignore the circumstances. I don't know that I don't think I ever say ignore circumstances. Maybe I've said it just a few times, but that's not totally my perspective. My perspective is like, we're living in this reality, so we're not going to just like ignore it and have a blind eye. But here's what we could do. We could say, you know what? This major life event is happening. We don't have to focus on how we created it. Don't do that. It would be better to focus on like, hey, this is happening, but I'm growing from it. How do we grow from anything that happens in our life? We look at a new perspective and say, look, I'm growing from this, and I'm becoming stronger, and I'm becoming more powerful. So you just look at the current component, anything major, especially if it's unwanted, and decide that this is valuable because I knew my past thoughts were something that brought this upon, like into my life. Well, I mean, you want to create that. Circumstances, they don't matter. I don't say ignore circumstances, but I definitely say circumstances don't matter because you can create any, you can change, you learn from that, you find it valuable, and you grow from it, right? All right, guys, love you so much. And guess what? I just got to 100,000 followers overnight. So I am definitely, I love to give giveaways. I'm definitely going to give a giveaway more. Last time I gave, for Black Friday, I gave 3 one-on-one sessions. I just want you guys to get this. I just want you to get the things you want. I want you to get and understand how you create. But so if you're not following me, follow me, because I'm going to put something up about giving away. I'm going to do more than 3. I just haven't decided how much time I have. I want to do 10. I feel like 10's the number, but part of me is like, that's a lot. Thank you. Yeah. So subscribe to I know I'm going to have a requirement to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I do want to get that up and running. I just feel like with my kids, I'm always like running around. I'm enjoying like doing stuff with my kids all the time. But free sessions. I'll give free sessions. And so if people are subscribing to my YouTube channel, I think I'll feel more, not more interested, but like I will get off of my off my seat and start making videos there. I do want to do that. It's like in the back of my head. So it'll give me a more initiative or more maybe incentive is what I'm thinking. More incentive to get that started more. So I'll be live this weekend a couple times. I just don't know when. But on the weekend, I'm just going to play it by ear, see what's going on with my life. And you guys have a great night. Okay, bye. If you're interested in purchasing my journal, the link is in the description.